Don't stop believing that Shohei Ohtani might be coming to Philly. No, maybe not. But we've got plenty of Shohei Ohtani updates and hot stove updates here on PHLY Phillies podcast because every single day we've been breaking down what's going on. Welcome into the show. Happy to have you guys here, joined by Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. Welcome into another edition of PHLY Phillies, presented to you by Ford. You can check out buyfordnow.com to find and test drive the Ford nearest you. And Jamie, it's Friday. Cue Rebecca Black's It's Friday. It's Friday.
I do love Friday.
We made it to the end of the week, and we came into this week very unsure about what winter meetings we're going to bring and what we were going to see happen. And now, as we get to the end of the week, Jamie, Dave, John, Tyler, we didn't have as much of an excitement in terms of this week, but we made it.
Yeah, we did. The Phillies, I think if you watch us, you've kind of fallen in line with our thinking maybe, and that it was never, like once Aaron Nola was done, it wasn't really going to be that exciting of an offseason. Some moves around the edges to come, and we'll get into all the Phillies stuff from yesterday, but it definitely appears as though Otani watch is close to coming to an end, and I'm sure much to the chagrin of Major League Baseball Network and ESPN and SNY and all the LA stations that were in Nashville this week, because they didn't get squat. But apparently now
nothing.
We could be coming close to an answer. Could be as soon as today. The Juan Soto trade yesterday obviously kind of got the ball rolling. Now Otani, and then if that happens, you would imagine Yamamoto can't be that far behind, because the teams that miss out on Otani that are looking for pitchers are going to go hog wild over Yamamoto. So it looks like it's about to get real exciting.
Things are about to get real, guys. We are all on Otani watch. I know Dave's asking teammates where. Look, we're going to get into it. We have to talk about
conspiracy
all that's
theories
going on with Otani. I know, of course, Mookie Betts getting brought up to Toronto. Barbara, glad you finally got a notification and could join us here. MBD, you're talking about now that Juan Soto's trade has occurred, and he was traded for a bag of balls. Did anybody apologize to Zulli for his Luis Robert trade proposal? No, we're still waiting on those apologies, actually, MBDBDBF. And Spiral Out, yes, happy Friday. Our conversations have been very focused on just continuing to watch and follow everything that's going on outside the Phillies. But there have been some things that happened this past week for the Phillies. And let's start there. Let's start local, guys, before we jump into everything going on around the league. And I know I mentioned it earlier this week, Dave Dombrowski's comments he made. That was Tuesday. He was saying, I could have made a trade today. And in those comments, he was also talking about how Orion Kerkering was a name that was brought up in a trade, and that he could have made a trade for Orion. It would have been a good trade at that. And so at that moment, it was kind of like we heard you, Dave, but we weren't really listening.
We
because
acknowledged
I feel like we were,
it, but we didn't talk
we weren't
about
really
it.
processing it also, because I feel like our minds were still on like, okay, that makes sense. Without a doubt, if teams are coming to the Phillies, somebody that they'd be looking for is someone like Orion Kerkering. He's young. He's got nasty stuff that he can pitch. We saw him a little bit, of course, in the postseason, but haven't had a full chance to see him. And so the potential that's there is through the roof. And for Dave to just casually throw that out there, I know on the show when we talked about it initially, it was like, was that a way of maybe raising some confidence that, hey, Orion, Dave believes in you so much that even though people were trying to find out a way to trade for you, Dave kept you here. And I know Dave went on to talk about the majority of the roster and the belief that they have, him, Rob, everybody has in this team and this roster as being a World Series title team. But let's start with Orion, because a little odd that he casually just threw that out there and it was like, wait, what? Let's run that back. So now that we've had a few days to sleep on it and process it, Orion Kerkering's name being included in some trades. I know, Tyler, you had some thoughts on who that trade would entail.
Yeah, I wrote this down in the notes because Tyler and Vince yesterday, before we went on air, and Vince, our buddy who kind of runs shop here, was like, that was weird. He mentioned Orion specifically in this hypothetical trade he could have made that would have been considered a good trade. But his point was, we need those setting salaries from the 8+ guys we pay $20 million to. And it would make sense that Orion, would be a coveted asset for other teams to get, because he is under control for, basically 6 years after this at a pretty cheap number. So Tyler and Vince started thinking like, All right, well, who is Dombrowski talking about? What would have been considered a good deal, and who would be interested in Orion? And I'll let Tyler take over the discussion. But I agreed with the two names. One, we've actually talked about both of them, but they make sense as guys that could have been, potential Orion trade package partners. Tyler, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I think if you're talking about a guy like Kerkering, who, as you mentioned, has good stuff, is under team control, seems to be a guy that is
ascending
quickly on a quick ascent,
Yeah.
right? You fly through the minor league ranks and you end up in the major leagues within the course of 15, 18 months or whatever it might be. Usually, if you're mentioning a player like that by name, you're doing one of two things. You're either trying to overinflate a market, and maybe Dave Dombrowski's playing some kind of mind games, which could potentially be the case. But I think more realistically, if you're talking about a guy like that, you're looking to move a young, controllable, potentially all-star quality type bullpen arm back into the rotation or back into the bullpen arm for an established one.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a
You're not
scenario.
going to subtract from the bullpen twice and not replace.
Yeah.
Correct.
something.
I don't see a scenario where you're moving Orion as like the staple that he made it sound out to be, and not replenishing
two right-handed
bettering.
arms in Kimbrel and Orion.
Correct. So my guess is that if you are mentioning a player like that by name, you have somebody in the back end of somebody else's bullpen in mind that you want to acquire. And I don't know if that necessarily means it's a legitimate bona fide closer or not, but that's where I think your mind, tends to kind of go is, closer type stuff. So you have to kind of play that match game of like teams that have a legit back end of the bullpen piece that are willing to move that back end of the bullpen piece because of either contractual obligations, or you're trying to get younger, or you're trying whatever it might be. And it really limits the fold to only a handful of names, which is where I kind of come up with a couple, whether it be Emmanuel Clase, it be Devin Williams, it be David Bednar from the Pirates. Like, it's a very small list of names that, like, when you run this hypothetical in your head, that you come up with.
Those names all make sense. And we haven't talked about Bednar much, but we've definitely talked about Devin Williams and Clase. And I'd be lying if money wasn't a consideration in this. I would 100% trade Orion for any of those three guys. Sorry, Orion could become those guys.
Yeah.
But the entire reason why they would protect him is because he's cheap and under club control for a long time, and you don't want to give up on those guys. But to me, getting a proven top-end closer in return, see ya, Orion. It was a great 8 games and all, but come on down, Emmanuel Clase and Devin Williams.
I know the common question people were asking was that a trade that you're going to be willing to put together for a closer, someone that's going to give you a couple innings here and there? And yeah, actually, for sure, because, it all comes down to the fact that you have to keep in perspective a win now team. Had we been talking about the Phillies, a team that's rebuilding or planning for the future, totally different conversation. No, I actually don't think you would make that trade. If that's a situation and you're someone like the Padres or, a team that's kind of in a chaotic moment of trying to build, no, I'm not trading away youth and a prospect and a young guy, someone like, Painter, Kerkering, like these names aren't on the table. But because the Phillies are in a win now mode, I know Barbara's saying the same thing in the chat, and we've talked about this time and time again and have to keep reiterating this. Absolutely, I'd move a young Orion who we haven't had a chance to see. As we know the trajectory of what his past year was, we haven't had a chance, obviously, to see him in the majors enough to know what he's got. We know he's got potential, but we also know for sure, for certain, locked in what we've seen from other guys, like someone like Williams or Clase. So, yeah, I would make that trade happen in a heartbeat. And it, to me, makes sense because it's a win now. Now you can put those pieces in and you know exactly what you're going to get from them to help the Phillies be able to win right now, not 3, 4, 5 years from now.
And by the way, guys, this doesn't necessarily mean, like, if he mentions Orion Kerkering by name, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is the focal point of the trade. So that's just one thought process that I'm taking.
I'm sure he mentions them because other teams have interest in them.
Sure. So the rationale could have been he was a part of a much larger trade, and
Could have been.
he was
Bingo.
the holdup. Like, it could be prospect
Sure.
A, B,
Yes.
this player, whatever the speculation doesn't necessarily have to begin and end with Kerkering is going for a closer.
Mm-hmm.
It could necessarily be, it could, realistically be that Kerkering is the holdup of a larger trade package that returns an everyday, all-star caliber left fielder.
Right.
Or an arm of some kind, like a Corbin Burns or whatever it may be. I think that we make that assumption, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. And when asked about, the decisions around the organization in terms of pitching and bullpen arms, right now for Dave Dombrowski, he was speaking this week on the fact that, they're not looking to break camp. They're not looking to make any decisions quite yet because they've got the young guys who are very talented. He was talking about guys like Mick Abel. He's talking about Dylan Covey. Of course, taking looks at guys like Connor Brogdon, Andrew Bellotti, and just saying that, there are 2 bullpen jobs available with Brogdon, Bellotti, Covey, others that are competing for those spots. And, they're also just going to take their time and make those decisions. It's going to force some tough decisions, Dombrowski was talking about. But these are the types of decisions that now, while we're looking at that next tier of talent for the Phillies, the young guys, the prospects, the potential, this is where it's okay. You can just sit back and kind of, just evaluate how they're progressing. And especially as you're getting into spring training, to continue to evaluate that. Johan Rojas, Yoro, another one that's going to be continued to get evaluated and just see, where
you're really
his,
trying.
I'm trying so hard, guys.
You slip it in there every time you can.
But yeah, I think it's okay to, you have the, for sure, certain players, and this is what the breakdown of a team needs. You have, your superstars, you've got the role players, and you've got the young guys that you're hoping some of them can make that upswing and be someone that can help you long term. So it makes sense to me that other teams would even be considering and be interested in Orion in a trade, because the same reason that everybody wants to keep Orion here. We all see Orion's potential, and we all see what he can be in the upcoming year. So if I'm another team, I'm absolutely considering how can I bring in Orion Kerkering?
Yeah, interesting that Dave Dombrowski named him, though, and it was just kind of one of those conversations we had out there that I wanted to bring into here. And it was interesting. You don't hear that very often where the GM names somebody that they could have traded and gotten a good haul on. One of the other things yesterday, Renee, that came up in Phillies land is Jason Stark, who writes for The Athletic, baseball Hall of Famer. Love Jason Stark. Anytime he writes or talks, my ears usually perk up a little bit. And he was on The Fanatic, an old employer of mine. And he was talking, and he said something that I thought was pretty interesting, too. And he was talking, and he said, re-signing Wheeler, and this is a quote, re-signing Wheeler will be the #1 priority for the Phillies once the rest of the MLB offseason rubble clears, Stark said. They are more committed to re-signing Wheeler than they were Aaron Nola. I think it gets done because Wheeler loves everything about Philly. Mm-hmm. Very interesting that he said it was more important than Aaron Nola, and with Aaron Nola, they went, $172 million? Yeah. So, if that's considered exciting, it's hard not to get excited by, keeping your own.
I know.
It just feels kind of dull, but keeping Zach Wheeler clearly is and was, I think, their #1 priority here, and it might be the next move that they make. They're going to improve around the edges, as Dombrowski said, with probably another outfielder and another bullpen arm. But Zach Wheeler is the next most important order of business, like we kind of talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, listen, I do think right now for the Phillies specifically, since they're not actively shopping aggressively in terms of how much they want to spend. So to be able to lock in on your most important pieces, that's why even that Rob Thompson extension through 2025 is important. You want to get those little logistics done. I do agree that Zach Wheeler, in my opinion, if I had to choose between, you're having an extension with Zach Wheeler or you're re-signing Aaron Nola as a priority piece, it's Zach Wheeler. He's our ace. He's the guy. So I wasn't fully surprised by Jason Stark's comments, but it also, as you mentioned, does kind of reiterate the expectation that we should see Zach Wheeler news of an extension, hopefully at some point soon.
Yeah. So I read up on this in Phillies Nation, and they were, their article went on to say, does he get that Scherzer type of deal, which was a 3-year, $130 million deal? Zach Wheeler is, I believe, 34 now. So
Yeah.
you don't want to go too long into the late 30s with a pitcher because it's rare the Scherzers and Verlanders of the world can pitch into their 40s at the rate they do.
Right.
So, yeah, you're probably looking at that short-term deal worth more. So would you give 3 years, $130 million to Zach Wheeler? Again, this is like kind of a reflection of the Harper conversation we had yesterday where it's like these guys outperform their deals. Like the deal you signed Zach Wheeler to, he outperformed. So do you owe him more on the backside?
Yeah.
I mean, in good business, yeah, you probably do. So, I mean, that's the type of deal that Zach Wheeler could be looking at here. It would make a lot of sense.
Well, ironically enough, as I was looking up and confirming Zach Wheeler's age because he's 33, also got the reminder. Got the reminder that Zach Wheeler did join the Phillies December 9th of 2019. So we're also coming up. I had to double check what day it is today. It's the 8th. So I feel like it's only fitting that
it's a big day in Japan.
Yeah, it is a big day. It is a big day. But before we even get to that big day.
And December 9th is a bad luck day in Japan. So Zach Wheeler, can't be in Japan on December 9th now.
Basically, that's what that means.
Yeah.
That's what that means. A plus B equals C. But also, as we're talking about some good news, I want to just sprinkle in some Craig Kimbrel news because why not? So I enjoyed this quote before we bring John Foley in. I know John's ready to join us as we get ready to talk Ohtani and other news. Craig Kimbrel was asked about his, wanting to go to Baltimore, and for Craig Kimbrel, no longer a Philly Kimbrel, he was saying, they want to win and they want to win now. I don't know how many more years I've got to do this and go out there and sling the ball. I want to be a part of a winner. I want to be a part of a great opportunity and be comfortable doing it. And they provided all of those things for me. And Craig had a Zoom call that was Thursday afternoon where he was sharing that. Tyler, are you snickering at this or the chat? Because what made me chuckle was, Craig, you were a part of a winning team. You were in the NLCS. You had the opportunity. And Craig Kimbrel to say, listen, that's the politically correct stuff of why you want to go to Baltimore. They're a win-now team. But you were also on a win-now team and were a big reason why they didn't win now. So that just made me kind of chuckle because I was like, really, Craig? Really, Craig?
This wasn't a win-now opportunity.
This was a win now, and you lost
being
now,
in the
actually.
NLCS when you dutied your pants.
Yep. When you went out there and at 35 years old, yes, your days are numbered, but you had a chance to win now, Craig. And what happened? So, yes, just had to sprinkle that in there because it made me chuckle. Extra ammunition for the Phillies to win now and go ahead and move forward to win a World Series because, good Lord, they want to win this. So did the Phillies. So did we want to win. We wanted to win too. I'm not bitter, guys. I'm not angry, guys. It's fine. All right. So with that, it is Friday, which means we've got our dear friend John Foley on with us. He's back from winter meetings, had safe travels returning back home. And John Foley, welcome in for Fridays with Foley. Let's talk about the most. You got a
shimmy, John. Wow. You got Renee shimmying over here.
Welcome. It's Friday. It's always exciting.
It is Friday.
So, listen, we're not even going to talk about Craig Kimbrel or Zach Wheeler. Let's talk Shohei Ohtani, John, because it's imminent that at some point we're going to see a deal for Shohei Ohtani happening today. The Twitter detectives have been out and about stalking Shohei Ohtani, stalking Google, finding out that allegedly there was a flight from Anaheim to Toronto that many people are assuming it was a private jet. Let me clarify. Private jet.
It stopped in Hawaii where his girlfriend lives.
Correct.
First.
Stopped in Hawaii, ended up in Toronto that flew out this morning. There also have been other speculations that have been happening. And it seems like we may get a Shohei Ohtani deal today. That's what reports have indicated. Are you believing that we're going to get some Ohtani news today on this beautiful Friday?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I believe it. I mean, you've got some of the biggest names out there reporting that this could happen today, and this is what it's all about. This is a lot of fun. Could be a very historic day for baseball.
Yeah, John, it appears, according to the sleuths online, that the Blue Jays could be the favorite. The Dodgers are still the betting favorite on DraftKings to land them. I know I read an article this morning talking about the Japanese media that follows them and how they're kind of waiting on eggshells because they're going to move where he moves, and they're hoping he stays in L.A. so they don't have to uproot their families. What is the official John Foley guess here on this Friday as to where Shohei ends up?
I'm go officially on record with guessing Toronto. I'm a big believer in the internet sleuths tracking Jets. It reminds me of during the Harper talks when everybody was tracking Middleton's jet around the country, and I think that would be the most fun. But I'm also a big believer in the betting markets. So I'm surprised that they still have the Dodgers listed as the most likely destination.
Well, I want to clarify really quickly, John, because Jamie, the chat's feeling like you called them sluts. He said sleuths.
Sluts?
Internet sleuths, man. Come on, look. I got a hoagie mouth. We all know that.
Yeah, John would never say that, but Jamie over here has people thinking that you're calling people sluts, but it's sleuths.
The sleuths.
Good Lord.
One thing I'm happy about is I never have to say Craig Kimbrel again. Because that has been the most difficult thing for me.
How the hell did he get a raise, John?
That's incredible. Just, failing upwards.
Literally. And then he wants to go to Baltimore because it's a win now club. Interesting.
Yeah.
So John,
I'm glad he's finally getting that opportunity.
Yeah. So John, for those that don't know, you were kind of in a real world house with a confessional room, and a documentary's coming out with our other ALLCITY members, Cubs, White Sox, maybe a little bit of Rockies and Diamondbacks. I'm curious what the Cubs guys, how their emotional roller coaster is, because their offseason, hinges on a lot. They're in on every big name, but one of the guys they're in on potentially is our own Rhys Hoskins. Are they favorable towards Rhys, and how are they doing? How's their emotional well-being after a pretty tame Nashville week?
Yeah, it's been interesting just to see them on this roller coaster, this emotional roller coaster that I'm so familiar with, where you're just like constantly hitting refresh to see if there's something new, some hint, some clue that Otani might be on his way to Chicago. I think they still feel pretty good about their chances, at least as of yesterday. I think that would be a really fun spot for Otani to land. I mean, it's better for the Phillies if he stays in the American League. But the Cubs would be a pretty cool destination. And I think they like the idea of Rhys Hoskins. Obviously it's not the top. He's not at the top of their wish list at the moment. But the Chicago guys I talked to, they were. I think they'd probably be surprised at how polarizing Rhys has been in Philly. Because they look at him and you just look on paper and you see 30 home runs and great OPS, and why not? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, we know John Morosi was the one that was reporting that, and one of the many that was reporting that Otani could have a deal as soon as today. And of course, as we're talking about all the calendar significance and everything like that around today, it was 6 years ago to the day that Otani announced his decision to sign with the Angels, which was also on a Friday, December 8th, 2017.
Because December 8th is a big day in Japanese culture.
And inform people, Jamie, because not everybody knows that.
I got to find my Google page.
Jamie's done some digging.
It is a day of good luck in Japan. December 9th is the day of bad luck. But December 8th is the secular Bodhi Day, celebrated on a fixed date in much of the Western world in Japan, and it's December 8th. It's based on the lunar calendar, so like Easter, the date changes year to year. I call it the Lunar Bodhi Day, the real one. So the next lunar good luck day is in late January. So it's a day of significance in Japan. It's a good luck day, and it would make a lot of sense that Otani would sign on good luck day.
Yeah. And I know, John, you're feeling like the Blue Jays are going to be the landing spot. I know, of course, we've all been following Dodgers, Blue Jays, Giants, potentially Angels, Cubs, but it was reported that by Morosi again, the Dodgers lost some momentum after being considered the favorites for a long time, and now it seems like momentum has built for the Blue Jays. So if that tracker was correct in following Otani's private jet from Anaheim to Hawaii to Toronto, which I don't know who else is flying a private jet. That's a very specific route. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I love a good conspiracy. This actually kind of makes sense to me because I don't know who else on this day is making that flight on a private jet. I'm just throwing out there.
It would be a very elaborate smokescreen, maybe.
True.
make the whole day more surprising. But yeah, that's why my money's on Toronto. But I guess we'll find out soon. Hopefully today. It sounds like today. That's some top-notch research, Jamie, about the day of good luck.
Yeah, I just piggybacked off of the John Boy Media. They were deep diving the Reddit and flight trackers and all this, and they put together a video. And I went, "Wow, damn! It looks like he's going to Toronto." And our own sicko Tyler Zulli actually made a lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays and what it would look like if Shohei Ohtani is. He made a potential lineup for all 4 teams that Ohtani could land at. So in a second here, we'll take a look at the Blue Jays lineup and what they could be looking like. They might, and here it is. Woo, that's a pretty nice top 4 of the lineup right there with George Springer leading off, Shohei Ohtani batting second, Bo Bichette third, Vlad Jr. fourth, Dalton Varjo fifth, Danny Jensen sixth, Biggio, Cavan. That name always kind of weirds me out a little bit. Cavan? I don't know.
Cavan.
It's Cavan?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
It's Cavan.
Cavan? Either way, still. Cavan,
okay.
Cavan.
Kava N.
Is he related to Craig?
Yes.
It's his son, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And then Schneider. That would be a World Series-esque lineup right there if he joins them.
Oof. That's scary. Very scary.
Did we do one of these? Did we do one of these for the Phillies? Because this.
No,
I don't think
we probably have just hours left to dream.
Yeah.
If Ohtani somehow ends up coming to Philly, first of all, Philly is going to explode. Nobody in Philly would be able to handle that.
You think John
but
Middleton's gonna go
also,
out?
it would require him not to be taking $600 million. So, like, it would be a huge, like, that would really rock the sports world. But it would mean that he wants to go somewhere to win now, which, hey, this is a spot to do that.
Come here, win now. And you know what? I think all these other teams, they broke the rules. They weren't supposed to talk about negotiations, and we're hearing all these rumors. What if it's the Phillies? I'm really talking myself into this now. It could be the Phillies, and they're the only ones who played by the rules and didn't talk about it.
Maybe he's flying to Toronto on vacation with his girlfriend, and also to just tell them, no, thanks for all the chats. Here's all the gifts you gave me, whatever else, back. I'm not coming here. It's been a pleasure. You broke the rules. And if that's the case, then technically you're right. The front runners should all be out the window, which means we should now be looking at next tier. Haven't heard anything about the Phillies, so
he's going to go drop off a horse head in their bed and said, you went against the family.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take a look if Ohtani did end up with the Dodgers at what that lineup would look like.
Ooh,
by the way, guys, we have a couple people in the chat saying, you can flip Bichette and Ohtani, the only reason I put Ohtani at 2 and Bichette at 3 was to split the righties up because you would have 2 righties at the top of your lineup.
Sense.
But listen, if you want to say
it's probably 18 more at bats a year.
If you want to say Bichette hits 2 and Ohtani hits 3, like
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, you're not worried about
I think
righty
the key
matchups
is
at
for
that
all
point.
of these respective lineups is it's December 8th. We're not anybody's managers and we're not making those decisions. So they might tweak where they're how their batting order is. But look at the Dodgers. Oh, Mookie Betts.
That first 3 is
Freddie
just
Freeman,
deadly.
Shohei Ohtani. That's all we got to say. Will Smith after that. You got Max Muncy, James Outman, Chris Taylor, Jason Hayward, and Gavin Lux. How about that lineup for the Dodgers if Ohtani went there?
Yeah, that's pretty filthy. I think it's between Toronto and LA. We'll find out soon enough. John, I'm curious. Nashville's known for their hot chicken. What was the best thing you ate in Nashville this past week?
Surprisingly, the best thing I had was at the airport on the way out.
Whoa!
Place
Shocker
called
of the year right there at the airport.
Yeah, barbecue sandwich at a place called. I think they have a real location in Nashville also, and this is probably like an offshoot. Like there's a Tony Luke's at the stadium or
for sure.
Hyde Park, but it's called Tootsie's Lounge, I think.
Ooh, I trust it.
If you're traveling through Nashville, the barbecue sandwich, it was delicious. Highly recommend.
Nashville's got some great barbecue. Everywhere down south has great barbecue. Like meaty, saucy. You need some extra wipes and things. Things are gonna get messy, but it's very, very good. Tootsie's is a good spot. So I hear that. Okay. Well, listen, we've got a couple more teams that could potentially be landing Shohei Ohtani. Of course, as we mentioned, we don't have a Phillies graphic because no, he's not coming to the Phillies.
But Yamamoto keeps getting mentioned by Heyman as the Phillies are quote unquote in.
We'll get there.
He said it again yesterday. What the hell's he doing?
I know. Tyler worked hard on these graphics, so I just want to make sure we can run through them. For the Cubs, let's take a look there next for our buddies out in Chicago. Oh. Not
Nico
as exciting.
Horner, Shohei Ohtani, Ian Happ for the podcast listeners. Then Suzuki batting 4th, Dansby Swanson 5th, Christopher Morel. They finally give him a position and put him at first base. Mike Tauchman in center, Gomes, Imea as the catching platoon, and Matty Graw batting 9th. So, yeah, I mean, that would definitely change their championship window in a major way.
Without a doubt. And then for the Giants, let's see.
The Giants
Let's just entertain this. Let's entertain what the Giants would look like.
This isn't a real lineup. Like the top 3 guys are solid, and then like Mike Yastrzemski's okay. Wilmer Flores had a nice year, but he's positionless. He's going to have to play first base in this lineup.
Conforto was their best bat last year.
Marco Luciano is a guy that he's one of their top prospects, and I think he's going to be a really good shortstop, but I don't know how ready he is just yet. This team stinks. Even with Shohei Ohtani, they stink.
So looking at that again, just for our podcast listeners, you've got Lamonte Wade Jr., you've got Estrada, Ohtani, Wilmer Flores, Mike Yastrzemski.
Carl's grandson.
JD, I know. JD Davis, Michael Conforto, Patrick Bailey, and then Luciano. Listen, I imagine for Ohtani, a big part of his decision is looking at how he would fit in, of who would be around him in terms of a batting order, what the lineup looks like. So if I'm Ohtani, I'm not going to the Giants for that reason alone. The Dodgers did look very, very scary.
I mean, that's the best one.
That is the best one.
Through 3 lineup in baseball.
So
it's better than the Braves. I mean, and that's scary to say.
Here's my thought process on the Dodgers is, yes, it's a move in location, not a far move. You're not moving to Toronto. That's a dirty lineup and just scary, top in baseball. And then also that would put you with a team that you absolutely can win now. So you get to stay on the West Coast. You get, like, I think to me, LA makes more sense, but this Toronto momentum is a little bit, throwing me off a little bit. I'm actually pleasantly surprised by it. But
Tampa would be freaking good with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
they just would never spend the money.
Yeah, they had
be
actual
so
money.
good.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's what Toronto's having as their benefit, that they're like, we can spend money. We've got the resources. We have the facilities. We've got the player development. We are, we are the heart and soul of this country. Like, they're pitching all of that in terms of even being able to bring in local as well as international talent and, the ability to recruit. So Toronto has been pitching heavy in terms of what they're offering and sharing, even from what we've heard that they've been talking about as the reasons why Ohtani should go to the Blue Jays. So I don't know, guys. I'm kind of leaning towards the Dodgers a bit. I don't know.
I think my final guess is Toronto. I think he's going to end up there. I don't know. I'm going to trust the internet sleuths. I don't know who the hell else on a beautiful Friday is leaving Anaheim to go to Toronto. Winter is coming. Why would you go there unless something's happening?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be really surprised as well. But Toronto seems to have all the momentum in the rumor mill, and after looking at that graphic, please keep him off the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think this is the best case scenario for the Phillies.
Yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Get your ass to Toronto, Shohei.
Yes.
and to add to it, Ty Domi Jr., the Maple Leafs player, tweeted not long ago, LFG at Blue Jays. So maybe Ty Domi knows something.
Maybe he was brought in to help with conversations or something. Who knows? Everybody's bringing in all types of. Maybe they brought Drake in. I know NBDBDF's talking about Jersey at Raptors game.
You think
Maybe they brought
a Drake guy?
Drake. Who's not a Drake guy?
I mean, me.
But like, if Drake came to help win you over.
I mean, I think I'd be impressed if they brought out Drake to get me.
Guy?
If Brandon in ALLCITY was like, "Hey, Jamie, come meet us. We got Drake here. He wants to sell you on." I'd be like, "Wow, that's pretty impressive. I don't really listen to a lot of your music, but cool."
Yeah, I would imagine that whether you're a Drake fan of his music, to have someone like Drake sitting in the room, like, this
impressive.
is why I come to the six.
I'd be more impressed with Rick Ross, but each their own.
I'm a
love Rick
biggest
Ross.
boss that your team knows.
Shout out Pears.
All right, well, I know you mentioned Yamamoto, and John, I do want to get your thoughts on Yamamoto as well, because we've heard the reports and the rumors that Yamamoto has been heavily favored to go to the Yankees or Mets, but then, of course, turn around to today, and according to John Heyman saying that the Phillies are also in, even though
Chill out,
we
Heyman.
haven't heard much else about the Phillies. Heyman's claiming the Phillies are still in the mix as well. Cap or no cap? Are you believing this? Do you think there's some truth to the Phillies being in the mix?
I think it's cap. Just
Yeah.
everybody locally is shutting it down, and I don't. It has the feel to it, and it has the feel to it of let's mention a team that has resources to help drive up the price. Because I feel like more people would be on it. It's just counter to everything else we're hearing about the Phillies' plans. But all that said, I hope they're in on him. I mean, it's one of those moves that we talked about on the show previously. It's not just a win now move. It's he's a young guy, and you could have him for a lot of years. So
Yeah, Jason Stark, John, said $300 million potentially in 10 years he could
Ching,
get.
ching, ching.
I get real nervous about that because, look, he could be nasty and he could be a bargain in the end, but he could also flop. That's a lot of money in a lot of years.
It's always more scary for pitchers as well, right? Because the injury
Sure.
risk is greater than giving a decade-long contract to a position player. So get a little nervous, but man, it would be fun.
It would be fun, and all rationale would go out the window, and we'd get real hyped up. But man, that's a risky proposition. I'm excited to see the kid pitch in major leagues, though.
Yeah, definitely. I know in the chat you guys are kind of saying same thing. Chris Miller echoing the same thoughts. $300 million for never pitching once in Major League Baseball. That's the other thing. We haven't seen him in the majors. We have all these great stats on what he's done as a 5-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, 3-time pitching Triple Crown winner. He's won Golden Gloves. All the numbers that he's thrown in his 1.82 ERA, is 93 under 1, 93 WHIP, 922 strikeouts. Listen, the numbers, the accolades are fantastic through the roof, but we haven't seen him pitch at all in Major League Baseball. Not to mention, that's a lot of money, and I don't know if the Phillies are willing to dish out that type of cash, even if it is not our money. I don't know if it's happening. But, John, we appreciate you all week taking time throughout the course of winter meetings, and then, of course, now that you've landed and you're back home, to join us here on PHLY Phillies and weigh in with us and give us the updates, and also even hearing your food, all the fun food that you got a chance to eat, whether it was breakfast with Topper or eating some good barbecue at Tootsie's. So it's been a fun week for you, to say the least, and a fun first official week for you here at PHLY as our beat writer for our Phillies group that you've joined to be a part of the crew.
Hey, it's been a blast. It's been one of the best weeks ever, and I'm so excited to be a part of the team. And now I'm gonna head out and just refresh Twitter like everyone else, and see where Otani's going. Exactly.
Oh man, I love that. One of the best weeks ever. I love that. It's the best week ever. You don't know what that's from, do you?
No, I don't.
John, do you know what that's from?
I do not.
It's another SpongeBob reference.
Where's King Crab?
You kids and your SpongeBob.
Where's King Crab when you need him?
Yeah.
All right, John, we'll let you go recover from your exciting week. Thanks for, of course, taking time to join us on Friday with Foley, and we'll be chatting. We'll be chatting.
All right. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Gosh, you missed out on my SpongeBob reference, but you know what? You don't have to miss out on that. Deals over at FOCO, because FOCO is the spot that's the leading manufacturer of all merchandise, where you can get collectibles, bobbleheads, shirts, any sort of apparel, I should say, hats, sunglasses, hoodies, overalls. They've got holiday festive specific. So if you're looking for like an ugly sweater or a holiday themed, of course, Hanukkah's here, Christmas is close. They've got everything covered there at FOCO. So you can use code PHLY10 to get 10% off of your purchase at FOCO to be able to rock the latest merchandise, so that you can make sure you're supporting your favorites across sports and entertainment. And while you're also supporting, make sure you head over to Hero Bread to support them as well, because Hero Bread, especially as we're getting into the holidays, allows you to make sure you are eating well, eating healthy and eating delicious. So over at Hero Bread, they've got bread that's soft, fluffy, delicious, tasty bread. It's very hearty. And if you're a bread consumer that loves a hearty thing, I'm sure you understand what that means. Very hearty, high fiber, ultra low net carbs, 0 gram sugar per slice. They've got tortillas, wraps, buns, sliced breads, and they also are the spot you can find bread that has fewer calories than the leading national brand. So head over to hero.co, use code PHLY to be able to get 10% off for your purchase. You can also shop for Hero Bread at Amazon or again, hero.co. Using code PHLY to get 10% off of your purchase. All right, I love the fact that in the chat, we've had conversations about Drake. I know people were talking about Big Meat, Larry Hoover. Do you know any Rick Ross songs?
Yeah, I almost saw Rick Ross in Cannes, France. It's one of me and my wife's big regrets was he was performing in Cannes when we were there. And we talked about it. We were like, we should go see Rick Ross. Like, that would be quite an experience. And we didn't, and we kind of regretted it.
Every day I'm hustling.
Yeah, but
listen,
Rick Ross is
you missed out. I love Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is a funny guy. If you've ever seen his stuff of him like around his house and whatever, like
he posted a video not that long ago where he got I think it was like a year ago where he got quoted at like $10,000 to get some trees removed at his farm. And he was like, screw this. And he sent his boy out to get a chainsaw. And the video was just the two of them like taking down the trees themselves. It was hilarious.
Oh, I love it. He seems like a cool guy. For sure.
I just got tagged in something on Instagram, which I just want to show you a quick picture of. It's pretty wild. And we're not going to spend any time on it. But apparently the Los Angeles Dodgers are looking into a $500 million gondola to cut down on traffic going to Chavez Ravine that would cut over the 115 in LA and carry a quarter of the stadium right directly into the stadium.
That's actually really
cool. That's awesome.
That's
if they pull that off, that's incredible.
A gondola.
So
it
looks like it would have like 3 stops. I guess to the stadium.
Whoa,
pretty cool. Huh?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Could be okay. I like it. I like that idea.
Should we do a gondola
from
like the
Philly.
Comcast Center, the top of the Comcast 2, right to Citizens Bank Park?
Okay.
You know, because you need a high point.
I was gonna say so. You have people have to like go up to the You go to Comcast 2. You get off at the train station. I would do that, and then just take the gondola right in. You go to the train station can take you there. That would be convenient.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pitch it. How much was that?
Just $500 million.
Just $500 million. That's it.
I mean, that's either the Comcast can find that in their couch cushions.
That's what Shohei's about to get paid. I mean, hey, if one man can make that much, then
Shohei is going to make $100 million more than a state-of-the-art $500 million gondola in
put
LA.
that into perspective. A
Pretty
whole
wild.
gondola with 3 different stops that's going to shuttle a quarter of the people that can fit okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. All right. Well, what the people are asking, what's a gondola? It's like kind of like when you go to. I always think of it like a monorail.
Swiss skis. I think Swiss skiing.
That's. I mean,
I think
that's a good way to.
They come from skiing. I think
that's a good way to.
Wait,
like,
isn't a gondola a boat like the ones you see in like Venice?
There
like
is
the
a gondola
long
boat.
boats with like the guy in the back with like the long oar that paddles through.
Venice. Those are gondolas too, but I think of skiing gondolas, like the transport.
So
units.
for comparison, a gondola is similar to like skiing, the ones that transport you for skiing, or like a monorail if you're going to like Disney World and you get on the monorail, like go across, whatever.
But it is also the traditional Venice boat too.
Right, it is definitely the Venice boat. I do picture that too, a guy with like a big hat on, like with a huge thing, like rowing the boat or whatever. But
Merriam-Webster dictionary says an enclosed car suspended from a cable and used for transporting passengers, especially one used as a ski lift.
So I'm assuming that means every gondola has to have like a security driver and all this stuff. No, you just put people on?
Yeah, just hop on. I mean, you have somebody at the gate checking them in, but yeah, once they're on, they're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's a cool idea.
I'll do it from Comcast
There's some wackos that would do some ridiculous things on a gondola. So I feel like you have to have somebody on there.
You might need a window.
You never know. You never know. It's some wild things that happen.
Anything that gets me out of traffic after games, where I can actually like enjoy the end of the game without having that like wave of anxiety of like, oh God, we have to leave this place. It's going to take an hour. I hate that because I just want to stay to the end of the game and not have to worry about spending an hour and a half in the car.
Didn't you guys ever see Spider-Man 2? I don't need to get
I
stuck
love
with
Spider-Man.
with Green Goblin firing at me here.
No,
Like I don't need to be like
yeah.
midway between the Comcast building. Nah.
Yeah.
But in our defense,
I would rather build the Venice-style canal and we'll boat to the stadium.
in our defense, Spider-Man has ruined pretty much every mean of public transportation because there's been a lot of scenes in Spider-Man movies, buses, gondolas. They always have something happening on public transportation or huge like high rises.
Yeah.
So
I'm in
yeah.
on the gondola. Make it happen, Brian.
I would
Roberts.
hey, I'd love for something to make it convenient to get in and out of the game. But yeah, I think there's some questions. I know people in the chat are asking some questions. You know, I do think that
It's not happening. We're just dreaming. I would
we
love
can
it.
dream. We can dream. But in other news, some exciting things that happened.
Monorail.
Specifically,
Are you a Simpsons fan?
kind of not like an extremes. Like
John Sequella with a great monorail reference to a all-time Simpsons episode written none other than by Conan O'Brien.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Dope. Yeah,
Simpsons. Come on.
I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, who
know.
doesn't?
I mean,
Jeez,
you should know Simpsons more than I should know SpongeBob. I'm just saying.
it's about the equivalent.
No.
I would say
Simpsons
that-
is much bigger.
SpongeBob for our
Yeah, but Simpsons is still going on. You didn't.
SpongeBob.
Isn't
you
Simpsons
didn't
like the
miss the
longest
Simpsons.
running show, like
Yeah, it's like
sitcom in existence?
27
at this
Okay,
point?
or
SpongeBob
something.
has been around a very long time as well.
Not nearly as long as the Simpsons.
Not as long as the Simpsons.
No, I'm not saying as long. I'm gonna tell you right
SpongeBob
now.
was probably 97,
If I could
98.
Struck a SpongeBob nerve with her. She's like, I will prove you wrong.
SpongeBob's been around since 1999.
And what have the Simpsons been around since 1989, 90?
Probably.
Simpsons, of course, definitely launched before 89, 10 years longer. Very close. So that's what I said. Like
a decade of TV
whole
is
decade.
very close.
So ironically, it debuted. Everything happens in December 17th of 1989.
Huh.
So technically, my answer was correct. The Simpsons were your childhood-ish.
What year were you born?
92. So the SpongeBob
Yeah, so you
airing
should-
in 99.
By the time you hit like 7, 8, your formative cartoon years, you should have been all in on The Simpsons.
I liked The Simpsons. I liked playing The Simpsons video game.
That was great.
That was awesome.
I used to play that at the arcade. That was my go-to
cool.
arcade game.
So cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
Bart
gosh.
could beat people with skateboards, and
Oh, it was
Marge would bust out the
awesome.
vacuum.
Oh my goodness. And you
That was
could
a
be
good
whoever
time.
you wanted. Like that was
Yeah.
so cool. Okay, what else has been very cool? I know we've gone super left. Welcome in, Will. I know you were able to make it into the show on time. Zachary is bringing up South Park. See,
I love South Park.
Adult Swim, like all of those. You know what was on TV the other day? I'm sorry to go, but we're just going to stay here on this rant. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Tyler, I know you had to be a Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Hated that show.
What?
I've never even
Hated
heard of
that show.
Oh my God, I bought this up thinking you guys would be excited, but apparently I'm
What
the
is
only
it
one that
called?
was. Courage the Cowardly Dog. It was so demonic and evil and creepy.
Awful.
I liked it, and Courage the Cowardly Dog was just on TV the other day. Like Cartoon Network, it was like Cartoon Network.
Never
show-
even heard of
It was
this.
a Cartoon Network classic.
Hmm.
Cartoon Network was like Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, I
like
missed
it
all
was-
that.
Yeah, that was kind of like later on in childhood. But anyways, guys, we can have a whole conversation about TV shows. I did want to give congratulations because there's been some exciting news around Philly specifically that we're going to get to see a mural. Don't
City
make
of
fun of me.
murals, Renee.
A mural that's going to pay tribute to the one and only Richard Dick Allen. So great to see one of the greatest that came through the Phillies, 7-time All-Star, played 9 of his 15
Should be
major
a
league
Hall of
seasons with
Famer.
the Phillies, getting a mural of his own, and it's going to be located close to Citizens Bank Park.
I think it's going to be
it's
Wolf
gonna be-
Street. I think I saw somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be coming out this spring
Like
of
Broad and Wolf,
2024.
maybe like something like that. I think I saw.
Yeah. So I like it. That was a cool. I
Dick
saw that
Allen.
nugget.
I think we have a bobblehead of him somewhere in here on the shelf.
It's like, well, where's Waldo?
Yeah, where is Dick Allen?
Allen?
Yeah, there's a cool movement to get Dick Allen in the Hall of Fame by a lot of local people. He's probably one of the most underrated major league players ever. Probably belongs in the Hall of Fame without a doubt. So him getting a mural is really cool for him and his family. And the Phillies tweeted out some pictures of it. You can take a look at it. It's going to be awesome. Have you ever done a mural tour?
No, I haven't. But I want to say, Martian, I did say Muriel because Muriel was in Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I was still thinking that was the mom, the grandmom.
Sure, I don't know that show, but I'll take your word for it.
But I did not do I
We
actually
took
can't
my
really say the word mural.
Wow.
Mural.
We took my mom
Mural.
on a mural
It's a
tour
weird
one year.
word.
You got on like a little mini school bus, and they provided you with some like fruit snacks, and they drive you around, and they
You have
explain
some
all
that's
the murals
fun.
and you know the neighborhood it's in and the ties to the neighborhood. It was pretty cool.
Oh, look at you!
I
You're
could
such
see
a
that
history
like
buff.
eye roll, like yeah, that sounds cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun day for you and your mom.
Yeah, my sister was there, my wife was there. It was cool. It was
Oh, that is cool.
the city of murals.
So it was like a bus?
Just like a little short bus.
Oh.
And then you just drive around and
You were riding
there's
on the
different
short bus?
yeah, it's not my first time on the short bus. There's different like you can do different like sections of the neighborhood. We did West Philly.
Yeah.
And like over where Connie Mack was and stuff. So they take you
there's
around.
Dick Allen.
Yeah, there he is, Dick.
Wow, you guys have good eyes. How did you see that?
Oh, they spotted him?
Mickey maybe realized it because you've been in here before. But Mickey Durkin spotted
Right next to
Dick
Aaron
Allen
Nola.
above your head. When you're on the one shot, are you able to see it better? Maybe that's how you guys saw. You guys have some good eyes.
There.
Oh no!
No,
How the heck
it's
did
the
you
next
see
shelf
that?
up. Yeah, how did you see that?
Wow, it's like a Where's Waldo or like
it's the baby blue.
yeah, literally right above you. There you
there.
go. There you go.
Here's Dick. Hall of Famer. Get him in.
So it's funny because the other day we were talking about TV shows. I love that. I know somebody just brought up Hey Arnold. Tyler and I were just getting into and JP getting into a whole TV show conversation. But I like the fact that you had a chance to tap into some history and learn more about the city.
Yeah, there's a couple Phillies murals. There's one right on the river, across from 30th Street Station.
Mhm.
There's Dr. J's like 3 blocks away from here. There's a Ryan Howard one somewhere else, I believe. There's a couple, and it's pretty cool. So, you know, like
I like it.
It'd be cool. That's awesome for Dick Allen and his family. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hopefully the Hall of Fame's next.
Yeah. Well, there's been some other news just to update you guys. We saw around the league. So we had Jorge Lopez and the New York Mets agreed on a 1-year, $2 million contract. The right-handed reliever at 30 years old inked that deal. We also saw, of course, we already knew about Candelario's deal. So that's been locked in. The Reds have now committed $87 million this offseason in free agency between Candelario, Nick Martinez, and Emilio Pagan. So it's been a ching, a type of an offseason so far for the Reds in free agency. And then the Astros and Victor Caratini agreed on a 2-year deal. So some other deals getting inked and finalized around the league right now as we're continuing to follow what's going on. And, of course, still waiting on the most important one that's going to move the needle, Shohei Ohtani, and wherever he goes. So.
Yeah. My final prediction is Toronto. I think they're going to pull it off. The most diverse city in the world. I think there's some appeal there for them. I don't know. Maybe playing indoors. I can't imagine you'd want to leave Southern California, but to each his own. And we'll see. I can't wait to find out where he goes because it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I do think Blue Jays is the Phillies' best case scenario. Just keep that dude in the AL.
Definitely.
Keep him away from the Dodgers,
That
please.
Dodgers lineup is a crime in itself. That would be oof. Yeah.
Well, you know what isn't a crime in itself, and that's Ford, Renee. Because Ford is having their year-end sales event. It's the local Ford store is making the holiday brighter, and the sales event is going on now through January 2nd. Now is the best time to get great incentives on Ford's full lineup of vehicles, including the F-Series. The Ford F-Series is the best-selling line of trucks. You see them everywhere. They're all over the roads for 46 straight years in America, which includes the F-150. F-150 has the best which include the F-150, are number one in brand loyalty in the industry because once people have a Ford, they don't go anywhere else. Ford F-150 has exclusive equipment like Pro Power Onboard, which provides an energy source for household outlets for your equipment, which is perfect for your work equipment or maybe a camping weekend or just the unexpected need. You could charge your laptop right in the car. It's awesome. And the Pro Trailer Backup Assist, and you can back up your trailers with a turn of the knob so there's no guesswork. Customize your ride with appearance packages available to accessorize the Ford to fit your style and your needs. It's that simple. So, choose between 6 engine types for your Ford F-150 truck, like the Power Boost, EcoBoost, V6, V8, or hybrid options. There's even an all-electric variant, the Ford F-150 Lightning. So learn more about Ford's full lineup and the Make the Holiday Bright sales event at buyfordnow.com and head over to your local Ford store for a test drive. And while we're talking about the holidays and the end of the year, everybody loves a gift for one of their favorite events. And let me tell you about Game Time, because look, if I got a concert ticket in my stocking this year, I would be a happy person, maybe a comedy show. There's always something that somebody in your life wants to hit. And code PHLY will get you $20 off your first purchase with Game Time, because buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets to all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They have killer deals on last-minute tickets with the best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're going to have. Forget planning months in advance. They have deals right up to the day of your event. Exclusive flash deals for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account, redeem with code PHLY for $20 off. 2 taps and you're set. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, guys. Well, we have been running a little bit over as of late. And today, let's try to get out of here by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's time
So then we should start Guess That
Ballpark. I know somebody said earlier we should.
Great American Ballpark,
They
Cincinnati.
said start the clock at like 12:10. We're gonna start now. We're not gonna start the clock. We're gonna start now at Guess That Ballpark. Now it is important to understand, guys. We only have 9 ballparks left.
9 left.
9 left.
And one of them is Great American Ballpark.
One of them is Great American. So you have a chance that you could guess that correctly.
What, are you going to give me that week and a half where you were cheating and I wasn't back? No.
Why are you? It doesn't matter, because first I'm up 7. What is it now? 7-3?
No, I have 4.
Let me double check my scoreboard. Okay, you are
Jamie
correct, because you did get Coors. You did just get Coors. Okay, it is 7-4. My apologies, mea culpa.
And you cheated.
Yeah, Jamie got yesterday.
Yeah. No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Whatever Coors Field was,
Yeah,
you
she
got.
got
yesterday.
Coors. Yes. So I got yesterday? No, I did not get yesterday.
Oh, good.
We were wrong. What was yesterday?
Did you update
Did I
your
get?
list?
No, wait.
I thought you won yesterday, but no, I think we both missed. You got the day before, it was Oakland. Maybe I got like Tuesday. Whatever.
Okay,
Semantics,
point
splitting hairs. You cheated longer than me. Everybody knows it. So the score is skewed. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, was it what was yesterday's answer again?
Yesterday was Coors Field.
Okay, so you did.
So you got yesterday.
That's
Renee,
what I
you
thought.
got 2 days ago.
Yeah, okay,
with
because I had it written as
You
Coors.
had it 2 days ago, and then you changed your answer.
That is correct.
All right. So what do we got today, Tyler?
All right, here is your ballpark today. Again, I think that this, honestly, guys, I think that this is a very,
Don't tell me I should get it. Chris already
gettable one.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I think you're gonna get today.
This is a very gettable ballpark.
Spiral said me calling out the show for ending late is adorable. It's all my fault. I can take accountability on that. All right.
All right. I have a gut guess, but I want to.
Yeah, don't.
Since
go
cheating is
so
allowed,
loud.
I want to go check my answer. Okay. Yes, that's what I thought. I'm
don't
going,
say it yet. Don't say it yet, because I don't want people. I don't want to know. We only have 9 left, so we have a very high probability we're going to have the same answer. I don't want to hear your answer, and I'm not looking at the chat. I'm just looking at the picture.
I mean, I'm gonna submit.
What?
Because I want to lock it in before the chat.
No, I don't want you to say it though, because then I don't want to have the same. No, I mean I don't want to know if
Tyler,
I have the
I'm
same.
gonna Slack it to you.
There you go.
Okay.
Great idea. Use technology. Beautiful.
Renee, do not look at Slack, because the one with the 2 of us.
Why would you Slack at the thread I can see?
Well, because I don't feel like finding. Just don't look at Slack.
All right.
Cheater.
You have my phone number.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah, that's a good point. I should have just texted you.
There's so many
But whatever. My
options.
Slack channel with you 2 was already open, so I just did
Oh
that.
my gosh.
So Tyler, I submitted.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling good about this one.
Don't look at Slack.
I'm not looking at Slack.
all
See,
right,
this is the problem. This is why you should have just texted him, because I don't want
All
any
right,
reason.
Jamie's answer is locked in, and I'm
I'm
not going to tell you if it's right or
what?
wrong.
Yeah, don't say anything.
I'm not going to say if it's right or
Because
wrong.
she's gonna
my
look.
answer also. No, I'm going to send you my answer also, but I'm going to text it to you because I've got technology too.
What are we doing here? We playing Whisper Down the Lane?
Basically.
I mean, it's got to be what I
By the time your guys' answer gets to me, it's going to be the Clearwater Threshers.
I'm ready to just say it.
I'm going to give you the Camden River Sharks.
It's Cooper Field. What was that? Campbell Field?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I played a softball game.
It's gonna be Ernie
Field.
Field's backyard from Backyard Baseball.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't text you what I thought it was because now I'm not sure.
Mm.
Oh no.
Mm.
Oh no.
Barbara,
I thought I was
don't
so
you put that
sure.
Great American Ballpark seed in my head because I want to say it so bad.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with my original answer.
Oh, we have a final answer from Renee without a countdown.
It's 1 o'clock.
All right, what do you got?
I'm gonna go Oracle.
Oh,
So you go Oracle. The answer that Jamie texted me was San Francisco.
which is Oracle.
The answer is Oracle.
Woo! We did it! We finally got one together. Woo!
I was really hoping you missed.
Well, it kind of started to look a little bit
I was really
like
hoping you
PNC.
overthought that.
I was ready to overthink it for sure. That right side. Okay. Whew. Oh, Dave said I arranged someone to bring a trash can to bang a trash can and give me clues. Thanks, guys. So the beauty is we're now down to just 8 ballparks left.
And one of them is Great American Ballpark.
One of them is Great American Ballpark. And it is 8-5. So technically it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, I mean, minus that week and a half where you cheated.
I don't know why that's so big. It's not a thing. Jamie's salty,
Tyler.
guys. First of all, we don't know how long it was. Secondly, it was not cheating. It's not from the start. I wasn't using the list in the beginning.
You were.
No,
doing
the
it.
early days, I was just out here struggling.
Yeah,
I was just throwing out random names.
And
I
you were
had no
just
idea. It
feverishly
was not fun
looking at
all.
your laptop like
and
this.
then it wasn't. I could probably find out exactly when I got this list. But anyways, guys, it is 8-5. Good job in the chat. I saw some San Fran guesses as well. Yeah, this has been fun. This is so fun.
Yeah,
guys.
and thanks again to our friends at Ford for helping us bring John Foley this week from Nashville to us to write for the website, to hang out with you guys here. We really appreciate Ford, and it's the Ford year-end sales event. So check out buyfordnow.com to find and test drive the Ford nearest you. So big shout out to Ford for helping us out this week. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's huge. It's an awesome opportunity for us to be able to have John down in the mix at winter meetings and giving us some behind the scenes. Would have been even better if we had some major breaking news, but we'll all have to stick.
Otani's going to break. The news is going to break in like 5 minutes.
It is. And I almost want to stall. Like, let's just keep this show rolling because Shohei's going to he's like waiting. He's like, all right, PHLY Phillies podcast ends around 1.
Let me just
I'm gonna
refresh
drop the news
feed
at 1:30.
one more time.
We're going to have to stay locked into all of the social media and
I do
apps
not see
and
anything.
Major League Baseball updates because today is most likely the day. And as Jamie has told us, it is bad luck. Tomorrow's bad luck in the Japanese culture. Today is good luck. So it has to be today. And if it's not today, it's probably going to be Sunday.
Yes.
But it's happening soon. So this weekend, hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Jamie, before we get ready to wrap up, it is
Eagles Cowboys.
Cowboys week. An opportunity for the Eagles to sweep the regular season series against the Cowboys, which is always great.
You remember when I said a very unpopular thing last Friday?
That the Eagles were going to lose to the Cowboys. Oh, when you said they were going to lose to the 49ers, you think it's going to happen again?
I kind of do. Dak plays really good against the Eagles, and the Eagles don't play well in primetime down in Dallas. I know they're a prideful team, and they're not as bad as everybody is saying, but right now in my gut, I feel like the Eagles are going to lose. I really hope I'm wrong, but I just feel like they're going to lose.
See, I don't like the fact that I feel like the Cowboys always play well against the Eagles, and obviously we know the records of them at home and everything else. I just can't fix my lips to say the Eagles are going to look. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm just going to say the Eagles are going to win.
Cool.
I can't even
sounds
say
a lot
like
better.
When you're talking about the Cowboys, I can't even that sentence of like Eagles, Cowboys, and like
Dallas sucks.
Yeah, no. So I'm hoping it's a bounce back week because I also don't want to see the Eagles drop back-to-back weeks. But I will say for anybody that's ready to hit the panic button, it's not the end of the world.
They're fine.
The Eagles are more than fine. It's okay to have some
we got Darius
late
Leonard
season,
this weekend.
late in the regular season hiccups because the playoffs are what's most important. That we're trying to make sure that the Eagles are making adjustments to be ready come postseason. So, oh no, people are agreeing with you. Oh no.
It's just MBD.
Based on the old guy on the right, I'm going to assume that's not me, and that's you.
MBD's just dropping his typical old guy.
You guys
reference.
are always agreeing.
Yeah. Well, me, Chris Miller, MBD. You know, we great minds think alike.
All right. Well, let's hope.
I hope I'm
Let's
wrong.
hope
Obviously,
the Eagles.
Dak plays really well against the Eagles. No Eagles fan wants to say those words out loud.
No, but every December, I feel like the Cowboys always have me pissed off.
I've worked a lot of these games down in
play the
Dallas because NBC always loved getting Eagles Cowboys, and I felt like every time it was a big spot, and we'd go down there and just get embarrassed. So I hope I'm wrong.
I hope so too. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen it, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, we're interested to see how Shaq Leonard mixes in.
He can't be worse than Nicholas Morrow.
Knock on wood.
He can't be. So that's it's a low bar to be better than.
It is.
That's my only point.
Okay.
It's a positive spin.
You know what? I just want to see the Eagles playing good football. I'd like to see less turnovers, so take care of the ball better. I'd like to see some better play calling. Stay healthy, and the defense make sure that you're able to make tackles. We're not seeing broken tackles with guys running through our D line the way that we saw Debo doing it and Christian McCaffrey doing it. So that's I need to see progress from last week, and I hope that also leads to a win, of course. So we'll see, guys. It could be a great weekend where we'll be following all the Philly sports action that's going on this weekend, and we'll see what happens. We'll be back here on Monday at noon. So next week we're again noon every single day. So it's very simple during your lunch breaks or whatever else. You can hop on and join us here on PHLY Phillies podcast. It's been, as always, a pleasure.
And before we get out of here, don't forget there's a Die Hard membership sale going on. Off $20 right now for the yearly membership. Includes a t-shirt, discounts to all of our events, invite to our Discord. A lot of great stuff there. So check that out. $20 off right now on the Die Hard membership sale. So just wanted to mention that. All
right. And we barely got over the 1 o'clock time, but we're close. We're getting out of here. So this edition of PHLY Philly Show, powered by Ford. You can, again, check out buyfordnow.com to find and test drive the Ford nearest you as we wrap up winter meeting week and look ahead to Eagles, Cowboys, and other Philly sports action. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the holidays. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate. Happy holidays for everybody. We'll see you back on Monday for more here. From Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee. See you next time.
We all silly like the man.